So I just finished working and I thought it was a good idea to come to Delfshaven. Delfshaven used to be a port that the city of Delft built because they didn't want to pay taxes to Rotterdam. Delft is a city located at the north of Rotterdam, by the way. The reason why I came here is because I think this is the most underrated neighborhood in Rotterdam. It's the only neighborhood in Rotterdam that preserves its charm and that will take you through time. Maybe you didn't know, but Rotterdam was bombarded during the Second World War. So if you want to get an idea of how Rotterdam looked like back then, you have to come to this neighborhood. From the city center, it's really easy to come. You take the metro, line A, B or C, and you get off at Delfshaven. And then you walk a few meters and you arrive. The houses and the neighborhood are not just the highlight, but the boats themselves. Some of these boats belong to people. Well, I would say that all of them belong to people. These boats serve different purposes and people bought them, they restored them, and now they use them to live or to move around. In some cases they even rent them, or they use them as hotels or hostels or restaurants. So they give them multiple purposes. It's also a neighborhood packed of history. For example, that church that you see there, the pilgrims gathered there before going to America. Let me show you my favorite spot. And this is my favorite spot. And the reason is because you see all the tall buildings really close together. You have the tunnels where the boats used to pass by. You have the old bridge, the church. It's like a perfect Dutch scene. So I think that's why this is my favorite spot, because it really represents what the traditional Dutch city used to be, and everything comes together. So now I'm going to exit the small neighborhood and I'm going to go to one of my favorite streets. And this is my favorite street. I should clarify something. The neighborhood of Delfshaven is actually a lot bigger. It's not just two blocks, it's not just two streets. It's just that this area specifically is the old port. So what I was walking actually is the old port. Nowadays the only things that remains are these two streets. So yeah, this is what you get as a result of not wanting to pay the high taxes of Rotterdam. There are also quite few things interesting and fun to do. For example, there's a big club with a lot of pools, billiard tables, and you also have a pinball museum, and it's also home of the first brewery in Rotterdam. So yeah, I think this is my favorite spot in Rotterdam. And of course there are a lot of restaurants and cafes. You see, this is what I meant. This small restaurant is also a boat restaurant. And here you can see the oldest brewery in Rotterdam. It's called De Pelgrim. And yeah, this is a sneak peek into Delfshaven. Some buildings are really old, 1653. And this is the view that you cannot miss. So yeah, in my opinion, if you visit Rotterdam and you don't go to Delfshaven, then you didn't visit Rotterdam. Now I'm going to head back home and call it a day. I just wanted to go out and show you a little bit. I only wanted to show you a bit and give you a better idea of Rotterdam. I will try to post something every day, so you start seeing a bit of Rotterdam and the Netherlands. I have some upcoming trips planned, but not 100% sure. Okay, since I'm already in the area, I will show you a bit more. This is also part of Delfshaven, but as you can see, there's nothing historic about it. It's just the modern neighborhood. What we saw is a historic port. I think I already said that like 3 times. By the way, this is not a river, it's just an artificial canal built for the ship's passage. Although I don't think I saw that many ships, maybe mostly boats. Many car shops in this area. So yeah, I guess I'm going to call it a day. Sure enough, I'm going to take the tram and head back home.